Skunk it.
I got to go to the I think it was the Scottish preview of Free Fire, Glasgow Film Festival.
Premiere.
It's pretty cool. Ben Wheatley's there. He's giving a Q&A, and so at the end of it,
he's giving it that.
He's giving it
that.
We're giving it that. He's giving it that. Everyone's having a gay old time.
We're queuing. He's Aing.
So he's queuing. We're in. What? He's asking us questions. What are we already have for breakfast? Like, so somebody at the end of one of the questions, I think it was the last question that got asked, she stands up, she asks this kind of wanky question, and she kind of bookended it with, oh, you know, like it's very, the violence in it, you know, it's very Tarantino, you know, it's very Tarantino-esque, and you know, just really that kind of Tarantino. She keeps saying Tarantino's name, and you can see he's getting a bit fucking wound up. He's getting a bit wound up by it because he's his own fucking filmmaker. He's, you know, he's made 6 movies now. Like he's
an auteur
style sorted, yeah. And he responded with it where he was like, look, he was like, I'll give you it's Tarantino-esque in that it's joined a club of movies set inside a warehouse. You know, like he was like, there's similarities to Reservoir Dogs, but Reservoir Dogs has similarities to, and he named a bunch of films that I hadn't heard of. But it was relevant to what we were talking about.
It's because Tarantino has made a career out of that lack of originality, not in a sort of like an attack on Tarantino, but everything he does is a homage to so many other things.
And scenes are like whole scenes sometimes can be homages to things.
He just does it from such an obscure niche catalogue and with so many different sources that it seems original, especially the way he clashes it together. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just not very fair to compare to take someone like Ben Wheatley, who's writing original stuff in his style that he's coming up with, and compare it to someone whose style is mixing styles.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it'd be like comparing someone, a musician, to a person who does remixes. It's like, that's not a fair comparison. Not to devalue any one of them. Yeah. Tarantino he's good at what he does, and Wheatley is good at what he does. But like comparing them isn't fair when they're doing different things.
I also think people are too quick to jump to Tarantino when it comes to violence. It's sort of a buzzword to. It was very Tarantino-esque, wasn't it?
Because you don't even have to be a film fan to know that Tarantino is into violence. No, it's feet. You find that film Q&As do have a lot of people like that, though.
Q&As bother me.
Film Q&As
bother me a lot. I like. Obviously, I go to them every night. I go to them when they're available because it's interesting to hear the people talk. But I think it's we can go on another tangent. Why not? It's a lot of the times the person asking the question, they seem to want so desperately to be taken notice of by the person on stage.
Go to a film Q&A often enough and you realise that most Qs asked in it are started with a quick paragraph of demonstrating how knowledgeable
of your knowledge,
and
almost as if they're going to turn around and be like, sorry, that was the best fucking question I've ever been asked in my life. Like, do you want to come backstage after the show and we can
have a real film discussion?
Yeah. No one's going to be like that, which is why I loved, to be honest, when Ben Wheatley did kind of shoot that girl down. And everybody was like when we were talking about it afterwards, we were like, yeah, fuck yeah, he should have shot her down. Because as I said, he's done 6 films, sorry. He has a style now. And to just compare him to probably one of the most famous filmmakers on the planet, it's just a bit like, fuck you, man. Yeah. It stresses me out. I think people get, and people seem to just, they'll stand and they'll ramble. They'll rattle off all this stuff to show how knowledgeable they are, and they'll be like, "But I guess the root of my question is how do you take your whiskey?"
It can film Q&As just attract such pretentious wankers. And we're not unpretentious wankers. We have our pretentiousness.
I think we're very self-aware though.
Yeah, I think self-awareness is what
we even do, like, we do this. We do it because we enjoy talking about movies, but we don't know a lot of stuff.
No.
You know, there's certainly thousands, millions of people out there who know much more than I do about this, but like, we do it because we enjoy doing it. We're self-aware enough to know that we're not the fucking go-to guys when it comes to, you know, when it comes to film. But
we're not about to tell everyone what's a good film, what's a bad film.
Whereas I think a lot of other people would.
They would just be like,
that kind of crowd.
I remember probably one of the best parts of the Q&A was the person who didn't stay for the Q&A. We went to go see The Love Witch. We saw the Q&A with the director afterwards over Skype, and there was a gap between the film and them going up Skype, and they're like, we're gonna get in contact with the director. Hopefully, hopefully this will work out and nothing will go wrong. So if you just give us a couple of minutes. And the guy got up from the screen, got up from his seat rather, came around and passed the person who was sat in front of us. And they recognised each other. It was a nice, were you in the film? Oh, were you enjoying the film? Oh, that's awesome. And the person in front was like, are you going to stay for the Q&A? And the person who was leaving was like, no, I'm not going to stay for the Q&A. I don't need anyone to tell me how to understand the film. I was like,
we just turned to each other like,
oh,
what a cunt. like what an obnoxious up himself person.
Could you imagine being at that point of your life where you think you're that right?
Yeah.
That you don't even need to stay and hear what a director's got to say about their film because you already know better than the director before they've said anything. I can't imagine that level of pretentiousness without any self-awareness. How you could say those words out loud and not think, fucking hell, I sound like a wanker.
Yeah, that's it. Like I feel like I'm so quickly realise when I sound like a wanker. I'm like, sharp, you sound like a tool, and I'll usually say to the person, I know this sounds like I know I sound like a tool right now. It's really annoys me. That kind of crowd puts me off putting myself out, like, you know, go into things like Q&As and stuff because I don't want to be in that
associated. I don't want to, like, I reckon it must be a thing that directors don't like doing because you get questions like that. It'd just be cooler as a director just to find a fan and just talk to them about like a normal conversation and not have these. Especially if you're an indie director, you must meet so many pretentious wankers who just want to demonstrate how much knowledge they know. They just want your approval, and you're like, I want to find someone I can have a normal conversation with. Not someone who's trying to prove they're an encyclopedia.
Yeah, I've said numerous times if I ever got to that position, like I would get a reputation of shooting people down. They see that episode of The Simpsons. Mr. Burns comes to the school, and Milhouse is like, "What? It's like, what is it? What do you think is Mr. Burns? What do you think is more important, hard work or stick-to-itiveness?" And there's a pause, and Mr. Burns goes, "Are there any real questions?" So a fun Q&A story. I went to a Q&A with Michael McDonough, I think is his name, who was the cinematographer on Winter's Bone.
Okay.
The film that kind of made Jennifer Lawrence famous. Went to a Q&A with him, and people are asking actually like pretty good questions and stuff. It's only about 40 odd people in the audience. It's quite intimate. He's showing loads of clips and stuff, and so this one girl gets up and she asks a question. And she's like, "Hey, so I was wondering if you could give me if you could help out, Calvary. Just what exactly was the end in there? Like, how can you like explain what exactly was going on?" And he's like, "What?"
No!
She thought he was John Michael Donahue, director of Calvary.
That's so embarrassing.
And he was like, "Oh, I didn't." And she was like, "Oh my god, have I got the wrong man, he was like, yeah, you do, and I thought it was so funny. So me and William, who's been on the show, we have a running joke now where when we go to Q&As, we're like, should we just ask? Like we're at Ben Wheatley Q&A, and we're like, sorry, Ben, could you explain the end of Calvary Times?
Oh no, it's so embarrassing. I've got so much second-hand embarrassment about this.
Oh, it was great. I was loving it. I was soaking up the awkwardness.
So awful.
Yeah, baby. There's a land that I have heard about so far.